Yeah, I didn't take it, Your Honor.
Stop. Don't say anything. You have the right to remain silent. Exercise that right. How do we know that he knows it's stolen? We don't operate on hunches. I'm going to lock you up and I'm going to make your bond so high, you'll have hair falling out.
Yes,
Do
Your
you
Honor.
understand?
What you just watched, that's just the tipping point for Mr. Aguilar. Before the judge threatened to make his hair fall out, there was a high-stakes Facebook sting and a web of disappearing lies. This is a battle over a stolen tailgate and a messy hit-and-run. Mr. Aguilar claims he's just a middleman, buying from friends and selling for a quick profit, but his story is full of holes. He blames a mysterious Instagram user for a car crash, yet a witness's photo tells a completely different story. Did he unknowingly buy stolen goods? Or was he caught in a confession he can't take back? At stake, over a year in jail and a $15,000 bond that could change everything. To see how courtroom psychology works and how judges spot a lie from a mile away, hit subscribe and join the community. Let's head back to the very start of this hearing.
All right, Judge, page 1, Aguilar, come on up.
Up to there. Hey, I meant to tell you, good job yesterday. It's nice, loud, clear, great.
Thank you.
Yeah. Mr. Aguilar, you're charged with failure to stop and give information striking a highway fixture. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You're also charged with theft, a Class A misdemeanor where you're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. Law enforcement officer spoke with the complaining witness who stated that on April 2nd, 2025, he parked his truck in his company's parking lot, locked the truck, and when he returned the next day, his tailgate was missing. An employee of the complaining witness searched Facebook Marketplace and found a tailgate that matched the complaining witness's stolen tailgate and had recently been published. The law enforcement officer executed a sting operation to purchase the tailgate from the defendant, the seller, on Facebook Marketplace. He paid the defendant $140 for the tailgate. The defendant was subsequently arrested. The complaining witness stated the price to replace the tailgate was $1,117.65. The defendant stated he buys the tailgates from a friend for $75 and resells them for typically $300 to $400.
We have him taking the actual tailgate, right?
Yes, Your Honor, that's what it says. Well, it has him as the seller of the tailgate.
Yeah, I didn't take it, Your Honor.
Stop. Don't say anything. You have the right to remain silent. Exercise that right.
Yes, Your Honor, it has him as the seller and that it was recently published 2 hours ago on Facebook Marketplace. But those are the facts as far as the dim summary goes.
It says here that this defendant did then and there unlawfully appropriate by acquiring or otherwise exercising control over property, namely a tailgate owned by Jonathan Smith. Did he take the actual tailgate?
Your Honor, there are no facts alleged in the DIMS that he knowingly took the actual tailgate. However, the tailgate was in his possession and under his control.
Sure.
He was the seller on Facebook Marketplace. There's no information in the DIMS, though, that represents that he was the actual individual that stole the tailgate. In fact, when the officers interview him, he says that a friend, he buys the tailgates from a friend. Mm-hmm. And then resells them on Facebook Marketplace.
Are we to assume that he knows that they're stolen? You know, he's charged with theft, right? Sure. It's a specific intent crime. So if he's selling stolen property, somehow there has to be evidence that he knows that it's stolen. How do we know that he knows it's stolen? We don't operate on hunches.
Your Honor, there is also an allegation, or it's alleged in the DIMS that the defendant told the law enforcement officer that he was aware the tailgate was stolen.
Well, there you go. Okay.
Thank you. It's my apologies.
Mr. Aguilar, I'm going to find that there's sufficient probable cause to go forward in the theft case. What about the failure to stop and give information?
Failure to stop and give
Let's see, we need to do probable cause on that one as well, please.
Good, Your Honor.
Yep.
The law enforcement officer was following up on this case in the original report. The defendant's vehicle struck a metal gate at an apartment complex. A witness looked out her window and saw the suspect vehicle and photographed the driver and passenger as they exited the vehicle. Law enforcement officers ran the plates and had the vehicle and owner information. The law enforcement officer later observed the defendant's vehicle in front of the residence. The vehicle had significant damage to the hood. The law enforcement officer made contact with the driver, the defendant. The defendant was ID'd to be the vehicle owner. The defendant stated he loaned his vehicle to an acquaintance he only knows through Instagram. The defendant showed the law enforcement officer the man's Instagram named Go Get a Veil. The defendant claimed that this man needed to borrow the car to pick up a girl. The defendant stated he would obtain the man's real name and provide it to the law enforcement officer by the end of the day. The law enforcement officer was not contacted by the defendant again. The law enforcement officer took a still shot on his body-worn camera of the defendant during the conversation. The law enforcement officer later compared the photos and saw the defendant was the same as the photo from the reportee. The law enforcement officer attempted to contact the defendant and could not. The apartment complex's estimated damages are $2,000.
Got it. Mr. Aguilar, I'm going to find that there's sufficient probable cause to move forward on both of your cases. Can you tell me if he has a license to drive, please? Texas driver license.
John, can you check that on Aguilar?
Don't. I know that you are itching to say stuff. Don't.
Oh, no,
You
no,
have
sir.
the right to remain silent. Exercise. I've got a bunch of DAs here. Whatever you say, they're going to use it against you. So
Yes, sir.
just now's not the time to fight your case. You will have the opportunity to fight it. Just now's not the time. I want you to understand, Mr. Aguilar, I will do everything in my power to protect my city at all costs, including property. And if I find that you're a danger to my city, I'm going to lock you up and I'm going to make your bond so high, you'll have hair falling out.
Yes,
Do
Your
you
Honor.
understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Tell me what time of night was, do we know the theft of the tailgate? Was it in the middle of the night?
So it was reported around 5 p.m. That's the only information we have, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to pick up any new cases, not to have any contact with the complaining witness in the theft case, not to go within 200 feet of where they live or where they work. Do not pick up any new cases. You are not allowed to drive unless you have a valid Texas driver license and liability insurance in your name, and that is also a bond condition. If I find that you're driving without car insurance, likewise, you will go to jail. That's it. If I end up revoking your bonds for one thing or the other, they're probably going to end up around 10, maybe 15,000. And if you don't have anyone to pony up that kind of money, you will be stuck like Chuck in there until this case is over. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Do you have the ability to hire a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we are going to give you time to hire a lawyer. So I will have you go to Victoria, sign a reset. After that, I'm going to have you take a seat in the jury box while we get your bond conditions. We'll have you sign it. After that, you'll be free to go. Don't be a danger to my city. You understand me?
I understand.
Come on.
The judge made the call. Mr. Aguilar walked free today, but with a warning that'll haunt him. But here's the question. Was the judge's intense warning necessary to protect the city, or was it over the line? Comment below, Team Aguilar or Team Judge. Do you actually believe his story about that mystery Instagram friend? If this case kept you on the edge of your seat, hit like. Share this with anyone who loves real courtroom drama.